Malinaw para sa amin yan. Ano ang iniiwasan nila? Malaking bagay yung walang TRO na in-issue. Because kung may in-issue yung TRO, we cannot even hold the hearing na on April 14, which is yung pinaka-schedule na nga for the reception of evidence as a determination of probable cause. So the fact na pinapa-comment lang muna, that's a good thing na hindi mapipigilan. Kasi yun naman talaga ang inaasahan namin. We are hoping that this time around, the Supreme Court will exercise judicial restraint. Na wag na sanang makialam, na wag na sanang pigilan pa uli itong ongoing impeachment proceedings kasi kailan pa natin mapapanagot yung dapat mapanagot. So this is a good thing na wala pa, but you can never tell because nga, of course, meron silang urgent prayer for the issuance of TRO and also preliminary injunction. So pwedeng hindi maka-issue ng, hindi muna mag-i-issue ng TRO, but there is always a possibility if we talk about within the realm of possibility na maaring pwede ring injunction na lang and not just TRO. But the very fact itself, tama yon, ay malaking bagay na sa amin yan para hindi na hadlangan dahil nga magsisimula na dapat sa April 14, that is Tuesday next week. Well, that's a very good development because that was requested by the committee through the chairperson na ipa-appear sa Committee on Justice April 14 because that was sought for in the subpoena. That was part actually of my request for subpoena na papuntahin siya para i-authenticate, i-identify yung kanyang affidavit at dalhin kung ano pa man na mga ibang ebidensya o na meron siya at pwede siyang i-subject to clarificatory questioning. So malaking bagay din yan na inaksyonan kaagad ng RTC, the one handling the case against Mr. Madiaga. So ang sisiguraduhin na lang is yung he'll be provided with proper escort. And malamang ang NBI ang mag-escort. I'm sure that the proper officer of the House is already coordinating kanino man yung sa court, coordinating with the court, and coordinating also with the camp of Mr. Madiaga, for example, through his lawyer. Of course, as you know, there are several grounds doon sa impeachment complaints, doon sa dalawang impeachment complaints, similar yung mga grounds, and therefore request for subpoena ay inaksyonan last March 25. Kasi yung March 25, yun yung ground rules, yung pag-approve ng ground rules, saka yung pag-action, resolution ng mga request for subpoena. So it's but proper na yung Committee on Justice inaksyonan yon and lumabas na nga ito mga subpoena. So kung sa April 14, ang maaasahan is yung tungkol sa issue ng confidential funds, the misuse of confidential funds. The fact na ang mga pinasubpoena at nasubpoena nga for April 14 are yung, aside from Mr. Madiaga, ay yung kanyang notary public para i-authenticate din, i-identify yung kanyang affidavit executed November 29, 2025. Tapos yung kay Michael Powa, because meron siyang mga statements noon, may mga sinabi siya noong mga hearings before the Committee on Good Government and Public Accountability. And yung request for subpoena kay Attorney Michael Powa, that was made by by Representative Tino. And then yung sa COA, yung mga related documents, all the submissions to COA, doon sa mga nandun na ngayon sa Intelligence and Confidential Funds Audit Team, Audit Office, ICFAO, Intelligence Confidential Funds Audit Office of the COA, that's ICFAO. So si Attorney Camora, yung sinabina at marami-rami yung mga pinapaproduce sa kanyang mga documents related to the issue of the misuse and abuse of the confidential funds pertaining to the office of the Vice President and the office of the DepEd. So And then yung pinasabina rin yung archives, yung head nung or in charge of the archives unit or archives division of the House tungkol naman dun sa mga dokumento at mga records, mga recording ng mga yung TSNs, yung mga naging proceedings noon before the Committee on Good Government and Public Accountability dahil yung mga naglabasa na yan ay nagsimula, ang mga naglabasa na yan tungkol sa confidential funds ay nagsimula dun sa mga proceedings na yan held during the last Congress. So based on the first set of resource persons summoned or invited through subpoena, ay ang tatalakayin sa April 14 ay yung issue of alleged misuse and abuse of confidential funds. And those are grounds number 1 and 2 doon sa third or Saballa et al. Complaint. And kasama rin yan doon sa fourth or Cabrera complaint. Na parehong na-determine na sufficient in form, sufficient in substance, and sufficient in grounds. Kaya itong gagawin ng mga proceedings starting April 14 hanggang April 22 and 29 ay yung determination of probable cause. Kasi isipin din ho natin na yung determination of sufficiency in substance, in form, in substance, and also sa grounds, kasama na yan. Yan na yung mga initial stages sa pag-determine ng probable cause. Now, ito na yung pinaka-determination of probable cause. And therefore, kapag magdi-determine ng probable cause ang isang body, ang isang investigative body like the Committee on Justice as sa impeachment proceedings na yan, ay kailangan ng ebidensya. Kasi ano yung magiging basis ng determination of probable cause? And yung mismong rules of procedure in impeachment proceedings ay talaga namang malinaw nakasabi tungkol sa probable cause. If the committee finds by a vote of the majority of all its members that a probable cause exists on the basis of the evidence adduced before the committee, it shall submit with its report a resolution setting forth the articles of impeachment. So, yan ang magiging basihan ng determination of probable cause. Pero intindihin din natin, so I'm already covering several issues already, no? And I'm sure the others are actually listening. Tandaan natin na yung impeachment proceedings before the Committee on Justice and before the Senate later, ay ito, while it is not exclusively political in character, ito ay yung tinatawag na sui generis constitutional process. Primarily legal, but with political characteristics. At dahil legal nga siya, at it is akin or like an administrative case, ang resulta nito ay removal from office of the official being impeached. And then, it is akin to criminal cases because nga ay kailangan din ng evidentiary rules, di ba? And due process. Kaya yung hybrid, hindi ito strictly na talagang bound na strictly by certain evidentiary standards. Kaya nga lininaw doon sa ground rules and guidelines as adopted no March 25 na actually hindi yun naman talaga ito full-blown trial, hindi naman ito in the sense na magdi-direct examination na, magkakaroon na ng full-blown din na cross-examination, kundi clarificatory questions lang na base doon sa sinabi ng sasabihin ng resource persons, saka yung kanyang mga ebidensya na dala-dala nila in pursuance or in compliance with the subpoena. Well, as in the previous impeachment case last year, 2025, and also in other cases involving government institutions that are needed to be represented by the Office of the Solicitor General. It is the Office of the Solicitor General in coordination with, in consultation with the House of Representatives. But because the Office of the Solicitor General, kakailangan din niya yung mga facts, kakailangan din niya yung mga records ng proceedings para makapag-submit siya ng intelligent and comprehensive comment on the petition. So, Office of the Solicitor General representing the House of Representatives. Well, that is actually a standard statement or wording ng isang resolution ng Supreme Court o the Supreme Court pag nagre-require ng comment. Kasi ibig sabihin, titingnan muna nila ang magiging sagot kung karapat-dapat yung petisyon ni i-accept na kaagad. That's why without necessarily giving due course. So depende na yan sa magiging arguments sa mga subsequent pleadings, sa comment ng Office of the Solicitor General, and then maybe later, I don't know, kung bibigyan din ng chance or opportunity the petitioner to file a reply, then makikita ng Supreme Court if the case is worth deliberating upon through further proceedings of the Supreme Court, like for example, oral arguments, bago sila makapag-decide. Then they have also the option, of course, na i-dismiss na kaagad if they're convinced of the arguments of the respondents, especially the Office of the Solicitor General. Pero yung ganyang phrase na yan, without necessarily giving due course, that is actually standard. Ito ay distraction. Ito ay parang inano yung aming attention para hindi masyado makafocus dyan sa impeachment proceedings, dyan sa determination of probable cause. So that's part, I think, of their strategy. And then yung tungkol nga doon sa hindi naman talaga unexpected. Yes, hindi ito unexpected kasi nakikita na kaagad natin yan nung hindi niya pag-appear. And then remember yung supposed letter ng kanyang counsels to the committee through the chairperson na question na kaagad nila yung jurisdiction ng committee, and then yung hindi na naman pag-appear noong March 25, and then malamang hindi na naman mag-appear sa April 14. So ang kanilang talagang tack all along is really to prevent these proceedings to really proceed, to go on. Dahil nga natatakot siguro, ayaw nilang harapin. Makikita na kaagad ng mga publiko kasi yung talaga yung mga punto ng mga complainants nung final nila yung complaint. So not necessarily unexpected. Dahil nga yun na yung nakikita nating track or tack nila na they will do everything as may be available to them, mga supposed legal remedies available to them just to derail, delay, and altogether stop the impeachment proceedings. At siguro isa pang rason kung bakit kailangan si VP Sara na yung mag-file nung impeachment, yung petition before the Supreme Court through her lawyers is that yung unang kasing petition, yung Torion et al. Petition, mas nauna, filed by several lawyers led by Attorney Torion, the same petitioner nung sa 2025 petition sa Supreme Court, ay questionable yung kanilang legal standing dyan sa pag-file. Kasi hindi naman sila yung talagang involved. So the taxpayer suit, hindi basta-basta tinatanggap yung taxpayer suit. They have to really prove na meron silang direct interest dyan sa kaso. So nakita siguro yan, lalo na ng mga abogado ni VP Sara, na may depekto yung unang petition na final nila Attorney Torion. Kaya kailangan nila ng panibagong petition na si VP Sara na mismo ang petitioner. But again, it's all about avoidance of accountability. Yan ang nakikita namin sa committee. Na pinibigyan na nga siya ng chance, dati umaangal sila na walang due process. Ngayon, binibigyan sila ng due process. Pero bakit umiiwas pa rin sila? Mali na para sa amin yan. Ano ang iniiwasan nila? Kung wala silang tinatago, kung alam nilang meron silang magagandang mga depensa, whether sa preliminary investigation pa lang, that meaning dyan sa determination of probable cause or later sa trial before the impeachment court sa Senado, wag dapat silang matakot humarap. So that's why ang nagiging feeling ngayon ng committee, I'm not sure though if I can really speak on behalf of the committee, I'm just one member, one ex-officio member, and of course I'm the endorser of the Sabalia et al. Complaint, is that damn if you do, damn if you don't. Alam mo na, yung hindi nagrereklamo silang walang due process, hindi sila muna binigyan ng chance dati, dun sa dating impeachment complaint na directly initiated or filed by 1/3 or more than 1/3 of the members of the House. Tapos ngayon binibigyan sila and strictly in accordance with the rules of proceedings before impeachment proceedings ng House na may karapatan at nabigyan ng mandato ng konstitusyon to enact with its own rules of procedure. So nandyan yung rules of procedure na sinusundan lagi from the very start up to now. Walang linalabag, walang dinideviate substantially or substantively ng Committee on Justice in handling this case, especially by its chairperson. It's very competent fair and competent chairperson. Tapos nagrereklamo na naman sila. Kasi if you take a look at the petition, although I'm not supposed to really discuss, no, on the merits kasi nga the sub judice rule, pero parang broad stroke lang. Siguro naman di yan magiging questionable. You know, broad stroke. Kung makikita mo yung mga grounds, para bang every step of the way, questionable. Every step of the way, sa kanila, unconstitutional daw, sabi ng petitioner. Doon pa lang sa pag-refer, unconstitutional na daw. Kasi wala daw plenary session, formal debate sa plenary session. Tapos doon na naman, nag-raise na naman silang issue ng 1-year bar rule. Nung in-initiate na, bayad na naman daw ng 1-year bar rule. Ngayon na naman na malapit na tayo magsimula, sa next stage, the most important stage, determination of probable cause, sinasabi na naman nila, hindi nila pwedeng gawin yan. Kasi hindi ito trial. Hindi kayo pwedeng mag-issue ng mga compulsory process like subpoena. Ililinaw na nga yun. Hindi ito full-blown trial. So every step of the way, parang kini-question nila, pinapadaan nila sa butas ng karayom yung impeachment proceedings when it's not supposed to be the case. Kasi the primary, the most significant threshold here is accountability. And again, the most significant standard here is that the House of Representatives, through the Committee on Justice at this point in the determination of probable cause, ito ay isang sui generis constitutional process, a class of its own. Hybrid ito. Hindi yung strictly na legal, hindi rin yung strictly na bara-bara lang. Pero kailangan makita, at least man lang initially, yung mga ebidensya na makakadetermine talaga na an impeachable offense has been committed and that the respondent, VP Sara, is probably guilty of that impeachable offense. Yun ang threshold sa probable cause na meron parang some showing of the elements of the impeachable offense pero hindi pa yung pinaka full, complete, and definitive elements kasi yun i-establish sa Senado as an impeachment court. So ano to? Pinipigilan lahat, kada stage mali raw. Sinusundan lang naman ng committee yung rules. Yun, bakit tumakbo na naman sila, umakyat na naman sila sa Supreme Court na ang pinakalayunin na naman ay pigilan. Ano akala nila sa Supreme Court? Basta-basta na lang nasusunod? Basta-basta na lang na ganun na naman rule na naman in their favor. So it's just really a quip na inano ko sa social media na pasaring po sa kanila. Kasi yun naman talagang ginagawa nila ngayon na imbis na humarap na, definitely, humarap na sa mga aligasyon, sagutin yung mga aligasyon, ganyan ang ginagawa nila. At basically na naman, predominantly na naman, technical na naman yung mga rine-raise nila. Procedural na naman ang mga rine-raise nila. Of course, may mga constitutional issues din like alleged violation of due process, alleged violation of equal protection clause, pero mababaw naman po yung mga sinubmit nilang mga arguments tungkol doon na sasagutin syempre yan sa comment ng Office of the Solicitor General. Akala siguro yun ng kampo ni Sara Duterte na yung SC ay Sara's Court na pwede nila lagi na lang tatakbuhan para pagtakpan ng kanilang kaduwagan at para umiwas at pagtakas sa pananagutan. Hindi naman ganon ang Supreme Court. I'm sure naman this time around, they will exercise some level of judicial restraint bago bago nila pwedeng pakialaman yung ongoing na proseso, formal process before the House Committee on Justice ayon sa konstitusyon tsaka sa rules mismo ng impeachment. No, I'm not really, because I respect, of course, the Supreme Court, and I know that they will do what is best for the interest of accountability for the truth, justice, and accountability. So I have the highest respect for our court. We are fairly confident. Kasi nga ipapakita naman yan dyan sa comment ng Office of the Solicitor General that all that the House of Committee on Justice is doing is follow the rules, follow the Constitution and the rules. Kasi pagdating kasi sa petition for certiorari and prohibition, di ba ang pinaka-issue dyan, whether there's grave abuse of discretion. Hindi naman ibig sabihin na lahat na lang na medyo may konting mga makita nilang kamalian ay grave abuse na kaagad. Ang ibig sabihin po ng grave abuse, whimsical, arbitrary. Diba? Whimsical and arbitrary exercise of its power, of its mandate. Paano bang magiging capricious, whimsical, and arbitrary yung ginagawa ng House Committee on Justice na sumusunod lang sa konstitusyon at sa rules mismo, the rules of procedure in impeachment proceedings. All the way hanggang sa puntong ito, before the start of the determination of probable cause, sinusundan mismo ng Committee on Justice yung nasa rules. So where is the whimsicality there? The caprice? Where is the arbitrariness kung sinusunod lang ng Committee on Justice? So we're fairly confident. Supreme Court definitely tutuloy po ang proceedings before the Committee on Justice. We cannot stop simply because a petition has been filed and is pending. That will be dereliction of our constitutional duty. This is an express, categorical, and very significant constitutional duty on the part of the House, and now being exercised specifically by the House Committee on Justice based on the Constitution na dapat dumaan sa Committee on Justice dahil nga hindi ito yung other mode of initiation, hindi ito yung faster track of initiation, kundi ito yung isa, because there are complaints filed by private citizens and duly endorsed by members of the House of Representatives. Nakasama yan sa recognized modes of initiation. Well, of course, we cannot be absolutely certain when it comes to numbers. But precisely, nakita naman nila initially yung mga proceedings on the determination of sufficiency in form, in substance, and in grounds. And then makikita yan nila dyan sa hearings on the determination of probable cause na meron talagang mga basehan na supisyente and convincing enough na kailangan mapadala ito sa Senado for a full-blown trial, for the full-blown determination of truth, and for the full-blown determination of the culpability of the respondent in terms of the import of the impeachment, of an impeachment proceedings, which is to remove her from office because of unfitness based on the proven grounds, based on the evidence adduced, and then yung perpetual disqualification from public office. So tuloy-tuloy lang. Basta tuloy-tuloy lang gagawin ng Committee on Justice. We don't really want to be distracted by this petition. But since ganyan ang initial resolution ng Supreme Court na pinapa-comment muna, then so be it. Kailangan talagang mag-comply ang House of Representatives through the office of the Solicitor General. My comment is specifically directed sa kampo ni VP Sara. So I did not at all mean to insult the Supreme Court. There's not at all any feeling on my part to insult the Supreme Court, because I know that the Supreme Court would be able to exercise its function, and the exercise of its function as the ultimate court is actually really to exercise also some judicial restraint na hindi basta-basta tinatanggap kapag hindi naman worth deliberating on. Especially so na umakyat na talaga sila ang kampo ni Sara, ni VP Sara, last year. So what is this? Ano na naman ito?